Hello, everyone, and welcome to Supermoon Station. We continue having conversations from our production house in Austin, Texas, during Consensus. And today I have another special guest, Ming, who will be talking a lot about data privacy together with me. And Ming, maybe we can start talking with your introduction. Tell us a little bit more what you're working on, what you're building, and what brought you into crypto.
Right. So I'm a founder of blockchain projects. Right now, I'm the chief scientist of Metis DAO, which is the layer 2 Ethereum solution and infrastructure provider. We're working on some new projects that's quite exciting. One is called 𝘝𝘐𝘗𝘗, which is a foundational solution to make ZK friendlier and easier to adopt for developers and app entrepreneurs, Web3 entrepreneurs. Also, we're promoting a new economic initiative called DAC Economy, which I think is a new way of thinking for decentralized economy. That's what I'm doing, and I'm excited about going forward.
And why crypto? What brought you to crypto in the first place?
Right. So I'm like many developers. I'm a software engineer for a long time. I started as a software, just a regular software developer in Silicon Valley. I worked for chip design companies, networking companies, web companies, and in the past, like 7 years ago, I started doing tech incubation. I work with smart hardware developers to have their dream hardware made. And also, that's kind of the time crypto/blockchain is just, getting traction in the, So I started probably 4 or 5 years ago, starting tapping into sort of the more technical side of blockchain crypto development. So I participated in a Ethereum layer 2 project called Metis. I'm taking a role chief scientist. So the job is to sort of develop Metis ecosystem projects to see new tech directions and the kind of innovation that we want to bring to our ecosystem. So I just got involved. Like many people, I was attracted to crypto and blockchain by its sort of like an ideal decentralization is the one key aspect of crypto that attracted me the most. I think this has the potential to not just revolutionize a way of dealing with like financial payments or doing things a little bit easier, but also has the potential to totally sort of rug pull the system, the status quo, right? The system that we think it's not just 𝘝𝘗𝘗 in the technology, but also kind of not very friendly, let's say, to humanity. Because all the problems we had is not just limited to technology. It's not fintech. I think it's just like a band-aid. It's thought to be a technology problem to deal with a financial system that's perceived to be unfair due to its technology shortcomings, but I think the problem is with the system itself. Decentralization has more to do with like DeFi or just ways to do things faster. It has the potential to totally change, revamp ways, not about money, but just rethink about money, right? What about a world without the need for money, right? We have smart contracts, we have AIs. You think AI need money to transact per se with each other? That's kind of ridiculous. I think I would think they don't need to use money at all. So in a world that AI and human coexist, what kind of economic model we should adopt, right? So that's a kind of thing got me kind of stirred and pushed to work toward a future that's way more inclusive, equal, and just inclusive. So that's a world that we should strive for, and that's a world I love to dedicate my life to not just dream about, but do something about it, to build for it.
Wow, it's like I like it. It's like not only think about, but actually doing. That's what we need in industry. And as you were saying about a band-aid, like fintech being a band-aid for a financial system, I feel it so much because like coming from a quant finance background, I always felt that why banking system is so outdated, just cannot work, it cannot serve people. And Metis is actually focused a lot on the privacy aspect, on the ZK. And what do you think in a decentralized world with like using blockchain technology, we also exposed to a lot of data transparency. How can individuals actually protect their data?
Right. So to think about privacy, privacy used to be thought of as a defensive mechanism, right? So we want to protect our data because we don't want it to be misused. But the thing is, you gave up your data willingly because of the economic design, right? Like you give up your data every minute when you use the internet.
Even if you don't.
Yeah,
someone around you using it.
Yeah, because you have to. It doesn't matter if you have money or not. Some say, oh, I would love to pay Google $20 per month, so I don't get my data collected. But that is, but that is not a way, because the business model of the internet is to get you hooked on their service and to siphon all the data out of not just you but everyone. Right, that's the whole model of a internet business model. So if you take the way they get data from you, the whole internet business wouldn't survive. So thinking about that, we should kind of turn it around. Like, don't think of data privacy as a defensive kind of mechanism, but think of it the other way around. Right, data privacy actually is your only existence, your identity on the net. It should be yours all the time, right? And so from this kind of perspective, we can actually propose a new economic model where we treat privacy, we treat data as a human right. So we call this individual-centric or privacy first. So you own your data all the way through, right? It's not that you give up your data to gain some service, but rather than service providers has to ask for permission to use your data, and your data should provide a value. It should be like a value generator. So everyone would get a fair share of the internet or data economy. So this is like turn the current internet model upside down or inside out. We used to say the cynic way to say, but it's pretty true, is that the internet business model is actually not different from a drug cartel way of making money.
I
They get
agree
you hooked on something, and you just can't give it up, right? So to turn this around is to let the data owner to be a first party, right? And data provides, privacy, data protection is not just a way to protect you, quote unquote, protect, because the protection actually makes no sense at all, right? Because you're giving your data, willingly already. So to make it all the way private, so and this is a necessity for individual to not just own their data, but generate value through the data. Technology-wise, this can be achieved with some of the new technology advancement, for example, zero-knowledge proof. So you don't give up any of your private data. And the service provider actually can access the effect of your data, right? The computation should be on your side. With AI, it's even more urgent for this kind of data to be protected because AI generates a lot of value, and if those values are all still being siloed by these big data corps, people will be left with like even less value and even less income. So this will probably be a big problem. So I think a privacy-first approach is actually not just a dream, but actually necessary for the next decade, right? Because otherwise, the AI would just take away everything, all the value. Yeah.
And it's actually a very great point about privacy first. And I was having a conversation previously with a lot of people on the data privacy. So majority of people don't really care. As you said, they're willingly giving up their data because the systems, the economy is designed this way, as you said. And I was wondering if there is a way to start changing it for average person. And now, if majority of people willingly giving up their data to a big tech, they don't really care about me, they don't really care about Elena or Ming if we stop using their platforms and we stop giving away our data willingly. If we're saying, no, we have to keep this data private. And if you guys want our data, you have to pay us. And then we might change our mind. But it doesn't matter if two people give up these platforms because they have millions of other users to collect data from. So they have a big enough data set to continue monetize and using this data. So where can be and how we can change the situation? Where can be the switching point when we can get an ownership over our data, and what does it take to do so?
Right. Actually, that's a rather difficult but important question because the future always starts with some kind of crack, right? When I still remember when horses pulling carriages, no one was thinking like a new kind of vehicle pulled by internal combustion engine is necessary, right? So we had the same kind of situation that you don't know a new data first privacy first app is going to be essential instead of just the add-on. Because if it's just the add-on, then people would just, by force of habit, just use the current service model, right? So I think a couple, I don't know the final answer, but I think there are some cracks that we can look at. For example, AI, right? We all know, recently AI made a lot of, breakthrough, progress. And maybe in the future, a new kind of app model, which is depending a lot of these, AI applications, will be so important that we can start to use to apply those data, privacy first data app models, then we have a new way of doing things, and with the new generation being familiar with this new way, the old way will phase out because they're just not up to the task or too cumbersome. For example, we know that AI can do a lot of things, but they don't know you, right? If they ask, like for example, if you ask them to generate a photo or a funny photo of Einstein, right? It can do it. But if I ask them to do generate like a funny, like a cartoon of Elena, doing some dance, I don't think they can sort of do it in an easy way because they don't know you, right? The data are trained without, like individual data for now. So I think one way to change this is that in the near future, right, we'll have AI models that's very personal, right, trained on your personal data, and that is so, from a traditional point of view, is so like privacy invasive that it just big companies had a very difficult time to do this. So a necessity is that so we design the kind of apps applying the privacy first principle. So these apps wouldn't leak your privacy all the way through, right? So no third party would ever get access or use your data in the traditional way. For example, we can apply some zero knowledge proof technologies to do that, do training and inferencing with a zero knowledge proof layer to insulate your privacy with the third party service provider. So this way, a new generation of users will be using this new kind of apps that's not very easy to be provided by the current, internet model service providers. And, in a few years or decade, people will see this kind of app being prevalent. And the old way of doing things, which is phase out. I'm not sure, this is the way to go, but this looks like the kind of cracks that we're seeing that might grow into something that will make the future more accessible.
And when you're actually mentioning AI, that's kind of terrifying to realize if we have AI connected, because right now it's random, disconnected AIs. If we, AI continue progressing at the extreme speed. If what you said, AI doesn't know me, but one particular AI knows me really well. Because of ChatGPT, everyone using it, people using it to have a personal conversations. So this AI actually knows them really well. Having it connected to each other, they know everyone.
Yeah, which is a terrifying aspect of the future, that you have a all-seeing godlike AI, knows everyone, knows all your secret.
Watching you.
They can even be you. Be a better you, so that's very terrifying.
We probably should start creating a church, start doing donation, sacrifice for AI, so it doesn't sacrifice us in future.
Well, the thing about the status quo is that the future doesn't need us. It's not just people losing jobs, because their whole career has proved, no pointless because AI can do everything and better. So we definitely need an economic model that can still include the human in the loop. Better, I think, it's not just to regulate AI or shut it down, but a kind of economy that treat AI and human kind of equal, and that kind of future will kind of protect human as a data source, and also let AI pay a price that they learn from human, but then human can share the value they generated. That's I would say that's a more fair future, and a kind of future that AI is not like to be feared, but equal participant of a human AI coexistence.
Is there actually a lot of conversations about human losing jobs? And I saw like a really funny video like earlier, maybe a couple of weeks ago, where there was I think it was a clip from a movie. I don't know where it came from, but there was a person who was selling all their like new technologies at that time, like fridge, stove, washing machine, and trying to sell it somewhere in the middle America. And people were saying, oh no, you want to replace our jobs with this new technology, new equipment? Like, we don't need you, we don't want to be dependent on you. And that actually shows that jobs are not being replaced, jobs are like being, I would say, elevated. There are different jobs, different necessities. I don't know, we're exploring space right now, maybe there will be more jobs related to that industry. What do you personally think about our future and what like humans can expect?
Right. So in a future that we call like self-sustainable decentralized economy, we have a model that this is a different model than we have today. Right now, you have to provide some kind of value in a zero-sum economic regime. If you can't provide a slice of like value to earn you a place in a zero-sum society, you're useless, and therefore you are on your own. So that's a kind of crude way to see our world today, but that's the status quo. So we think in a self-sustainable decentralized economy where AI and human coexist, we should change the value principle, which is being human or being AI is the same. We can say something like being sentient is value. So if you're just thinking, being sentient, then you have value, and an economic regime that can give you value, provide value, generate value, because you are you, because you are human. That's enough to generate some value for you, so you can be you can sustain yourself. This is a world we want to live in. It's fair. It's more inclusive, and it treats human as human, and AI as also part of the kind of sentient being that we created. So I think this is the future we can look up to and not scared of.
Do you think it's actually possible? Because I feel a lot of people, like in the human nature, people are greedy, like not everyone, but a lot of people become, as long as they get access to power, and they'll find a way to limit everyone else. Like that's what we see in the current structure and why it's not working. Do you think it's possible considering like unfortunate human nature?
Yes. Well, you can have two kind of views of the future. One is that the humans are so greedy and self-destructive, then that kind of future is unachievable, unreachable, and we'll all just just kill off each other in a big showdown, right, for the humanity. That's a pessimistic future, of course. Which
like extreme pessimistic.
Yeah, extreme pessimistic. Another view is that we can always save ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't be like here after millions of years of near extinction, right? We always survive. So, in that regard, we can look up into like nature. In nature, no species actually dominated. Always dominant. So, I think by natural equilibrium, we can achieve a coexistence among species. So if you think of human as a species and AI as another species, so we'll probably reach a equilibrium someday. them being too powerful, and human had to think hard of, is it us that enable this? If this is the way, then we have to change ourselves. I think I'm of the more optimistic crowd that I believe an equilibrium can be achieved between AI and human.
I really hope it's going to be this way. I'm not sure yet. I don't have opinion yet. I'm kind of like riding a wave and see what's happening. It is terrifying, but at the same time, I know from like history, people evolve, and when technology is commonplace, our jobs are being replaced with another job. Of course, it's also an opportunity, and yeah, maybe we are onto something really, really great that's going to happen very soon. And going back also to privacy conversation, of course,
Sure.
that's a way to protect ourselves, not only from centralized parties that are trading our data, but also from potential like harm of AI that people are terrified of. What do you think, like, what can we achieve from a technology perspective? Because we have ZK right now, but I know that it's not still ideal, and you can still trace data. What and how we can work to achieve more data privacy?
Sure. So that's why we're developing this technology to ease the path from the current way of doing things, which is no privacy at all, to a sort of protected way of developing apps. Right now, I think the problem is that protecting privacy is very difficult. Most developers don't really think about it, or just to think, oh, this is something, after we achieve a little bit of traction, then we can think of data protection, right? So that has to change. But it's not easier. Even veteran developers are kind of, the ideas about zero knowledge proof and all those technologies are kind of very alien to them, and it's not easy. You have to be really efficient in the specifics of zero knowledge proof cryptography. So we're developing this technology called ZK MIPS, which is to develop a sort of below everything kind of ZKP solution. So you don't even need to do anything. For example, we secure a very popular and stable instruction set called MIPS, which is developed like a couple of decades ago, and it's very stable and has a very small footprint of instruction set. I think only 30 instructions, which is more than enough to emulate most of the smart contract VMs. So with this, you don't have to even call any special ZK library, or and then your VM are kind of secured already, because this technology sits below everyone. So that's one of the efforts to make it easy and think about privacy the first thing you do, instead of like a last afterthought. So that's a small step toward a privacy-first approach to develop these apps.
And how can we raise awareness about data privacy for just average person? How can we get them into privacy first?
Right. I think everyone should think of the higher of themselves. My data is my identity, is my existence. So, you shouldn't give it even one bit away. Yeah, I think everyone should think of that way.
I like it. And Ming, for the last question, so you've been involved in the crypto space for quite a while, and everyone have a crazy story when they are been involved in the crypto space. So I want to learn about your personal story. It can be something crazy, wild, some experience that you went through. It can be also an inspirational. It can be funny, it can be inspirational, but a very personal story.
Well, if to okay, I don't know if I have a story to top everyone else, but I still remember like many years ago when Bitcoin first emerged. I thought it was I thought it was a joke. Because this one is have no real name and no name project, and then I got this sort of eureka moment. I think around 2017, 2018. Not because it's the value has increased a lot. But I took a first look at the Bitcoin source code, and I kind of just think this is the kind of code that I found it so elegant, and I think I fall in love with crypto because of the code.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin code, well, that's really inspirational from a developer perspective. And thank you so much, Ming, for such a wonderful session. It was very insightful on the data privacy side. We tapped into AI, and would love to have you for follow-up interview and podcast for sure. And for everyone else, thank you for watching Supermoon Station. Don't forget to press like and subscribe to our channel.